Hi guys, my name is Akbar. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss about the role of transition manager. Who is this guy? What is this guy role actually? What this person is going to do, he or she. Okay. Imagine there's a two service based company, company A and company B is there. Okay. Company A has lost the project and company B has won the project. Now, as part of a transition, the company which has lost the bidding has to give the KT to the person to the company which has win the bidding. Correct? Now, the transition manager makes sure a smooth KT transition across the multiple floors, multiple technologies like a middleware, database, service desk, operations team, tools team, n number of teams. Okay, so now this guy role plays a critical role after the client relationship manager. The major role plays by the transition manager. So now I'm going to give you a little bit of inputs about what is this transition manager gonna do, what he gonna perform, how he gonna interact with the multiple teams, what are all the multiple activities he gonna involve. So his duration of a work in a project is limited, but once the KT is done, once the smooth transaction is done, his role is no more. So his role is expected in the project for minimum 6 months or 6 to 8 months. That's all, not more than that. Okay. Now let us. I hope you guys have understand what I trying to explain here. Let's have a quick walkthrough about these slides. So what is the main objective? Ensure smooth and risk-free transition. So transition between the company who has lost the project and the company who has won the project. Establish teams, tools, and governance. So he need to take care of the teams, recruitment process, tower lead, and the respective team, how much time they need, how many resources they need, what is the ship gonna coverage. All these things he has to work with a HR, he has to get a JD from client and prepare the JD accordingly and make sure the tower lead gonna join before this particular timeline. Once the tower lead has been joined the project, so what he needs to make sure is the KT from the opposite team is gonna give smoothly. How when the company when one company lost the project, obviously then they are not going to give it smoothly. Obviously there are going to be hurdles. All these hurdles has to be taken care by the transition manager's job is to make sure all the documents are up to date on a daily basis, are tracking what they are learning, what they are getting KT, what are the multiple phases the team is undergoing. Okay, all these things he has to talk to HR, he needs to talk to client, he need to get a JD, he need to talk to HR again. Based on the JD, how the tower lead gonna recruit for all the multiple towers. Once the recruitment of tower lead happen, what is the next phase? KT phases, observation phase, shadowing phase, performance phase, go live phase. So he has to go through all the phases and make sure each and every day there should be a progress and team recruitment process and the KT process is going smooth. So there should be evaluation on what basis the evaluation is going to happen, weekly deck, on what basis the presentation is going to make weekly feedback from a client, weekly feedback from the person who is giving the KT as well. So proactive observation in terms of hiring, proactive observation in terms of KT, in terms of access, in terms of tools, governance, everything end to end he has to take care. Now, application services in scopes. First, he need to understand what are the number of applications, what is the impact, what are the data centers, what is the location, what is the primary, what is secondary, is it active passive setup or passive passive, how it is active active or active passive setup, like that. Is it a offshore model, is it an on-site model, is it a both? Yes. Is it a staff augmentation or is it a fixed bid? When I say staff augmentation, the client will pay based on the number of resources. What is a fixed bid? Fixed bid in the sense client will pay fixed amount and the service based company can go and handle the number of resources based on their requirement. Now talks about the shift management, how the tower lead gonna manage the shift to the respective towers. So next is about transition phases. So now you have to understand about the phases. Now the KT has started pre-transition, transition, shadow, reverse shadow, steady state. So in the Pre-transition stage, you have to undergo KT planning, stakeholder alignment, transition KT sessions, accessing provisioning, shadow support, new team. Okay, reverse shadow. The person who is getting the KT, again, he has to do the presentation. How much he has learned. Did he really understand what the opposite person is giving the KT? What are the tools? Did they got an access? Did they know how to log in? Did they really know the application owner's point of contacts? Do they really know how to follow the process? Technicals is secondary, but at least the basic things, whose application owners, servers inventory, how to log into the servers, what are the tools. So is current team is aware of the tools, has a prior experience or not? If not, how soon they can capture it, how soon they can go for it. A learning phase. Okay. Now the roles and responsibilities of a transition manager, SME, project manager, support team. When I say project manager, this guy is gonna take the resourcing part, like your laptops, your roadmap for the project. SME is the person who is a technically expert. So transition manager make sure there is a no gap if any help needed with the SMEs, and they are there to provide a platform. Support team, like SOP, standard operating procedure, the documentation, what they need to follow, or earlier they used to follow with the client. So any gaps where the automation can be made, you have to observe in each and every angle, look at the data. What is the service now? If you are using a ticketing tool, pull the past data, how the automation is going on, n number of tickets, based on the tickets, based on the changes. Do they need to know how to raise a change, how to raise a ticket? What is a SLA? What is a acknowledgement SLA? What is a resolution SLA? When I say SLA, is a service level agreement. So all these things, project manager and transition manager has to discuss and put it in a SOW. And then is followed by SME. SME has to take care of SOPs, standard operating procedure, the documentation to follow technical. Now, so when the transition is going on, there's a daily calls, weekly calls, KT trackers, risk issues, any backlogs. So everything needs to be there. So next is the key deliverables, talks about KT documentation. Is a person who is giving the KT is giving you the, any kind of a documentation, any kind of a commands. Each and every stuff has to be recorded so that it can be at least 1% of a learning every day. It matters. SOPs, run books, access metrics, go live checklist. Okay. Now the next is risk and mitigation. Understand if the KT is going on and the opposite person who is receiving a KT and he's keep on asking questions and that questions will not be answered, in that case will be considered as an incomplete KT. If the person who is giving KT and he's always not interested to give you each and everything because he's lost the project and they are ready to leave. So it's nowhere, it's depending on the person who is getting a KT and what kind of a questions he's asking. Is all the questions has been recorded on the call and everything is getting updated on the SharePoints, and each and every question has been asked by the team is gonna answer or not. So this is the roles and responsibilities of a transition manager to cover up the gaps and make sure to on timely basis notify to client and client managers. Okay, I hope it's clear for now. Risk and mitigation. So all these things. So overall, the picture is the transition manager is a person who interacts with the client relationship manager who has bid a project and win the project, and he has to interact with the HR. He has to interact with the tower leads. He has to interact with the opposite person who is giving the KT, and he need to arrange a calls. He need to arrange a meetings. He need to take care of weekly reports, daily progress, all these things he has to be part of until goes on go live phase. Okay. So this is one part of a PPT here. Let me go to the next one. What kind of scenarios the transition manager will be coming across? Let's see here. Okay. So top critical scenarios is the part one. One is incomplete KT. SME attrition, like keep backups, SMEs, record all sessions, access delay. So this is most critical part. By the time when you hire a exact tower lead, so most of the time gonna waste it if you're not able to find a SME. If you're not able to find a SME, within the organization, and if you have to go for external hire, in that case, their notice period will be a challenging part. Once the tower lead join, so his access, it should not be delayed, so the process has to be smooth. In all these areas has to be observation. In all these areas, so the observation has to be there. So let's go to the next PPT here. Now, top critical scenario tickets. So plan gradual ramp up and keep SME on standby. So the next is poor documentation. So he need to focus on the documentation, who has created, what is the agenda of this documentation. Is this document was not there before? If not, what is the new thing that we're gonna cover in this SOP, standard operating procedure? Client confidence gap. So we have to win the confidence. If there is any gap, we need to cover on it. Communication gap, daily war rooms, define RACI, change management. Are they really following a 4A review? Are they following implementation process? Who is implementing the change? Who is the backup for this particular change? 4A review, implementer, pre-implementer, implementation plan, backup plan, backout plan, everything, each and everything has to focus on. Now, pro tips for smooth go live phase. So, go live phase is means going to live. The person who has win the project has to perform the action items. So, enable hypercare support for 1 to 2 weeks post go live. Share daily dashboards. Maintain transition closure tickets. Sign offs. Each and everything has to be focused. So these are the main critical things. So he need to make sure everything is going smooth. So apart from this, the KT phase trackers. So he has to maintain a PPT, he has to maintain an Excel sheet. What is the key parameters that he has to undergo? Okay, let me do a little bit of Excel work here. Okay, let's understand the phases. Well, pre-KT planning. So before the KT starts, what you basically need to make sure. Pre-KT scope, stakeholders, tools, uh, scope, KT, identify SMEs. So this is the most challenging part, identifying SMEs or the tower lead based on the JD from client. You have to talk to HR, you have to get a JD from the client, and you need to make sure the resources with the right skill set, right experience. So owner is a transition manager. So KT planning has to take care, stakeholders metrics, KT schedule, everything. So KT execution, when it is as per the plan, when your tower lead is on ready for the respective technology, either it is middleware, DevOps, either it is a tool, backup, any technology, whatever it is. The first is a transition manager and respective tower lead has to be there. And then the proper planning for a KT has to start at who is going to give the KT and who is getting the KT. Is it a staff augmentation project? Is it a fixed bid project? Is it an offshore onsite model? What kind of a shifts the client is expecting? All these things he has to take care from when he is expecting to office, during KT phase or after the KT phase, after the go live or before the go live. So when I say go live means the people who are getting the KT, they're gonna perform on their own without any support. That's what the meaning of go live. What is a shadowing support? Means shadow support means a kind like the person who has lost the project, he is performing and you are just he'll be sharing his screen and you're monitoring it and how he's doing, what he's doing, and what is the alert, what is the monitoring tools they are using. Once everything is clear, then you have understand, the opposite team has understand. Imagine a middleware team or DevOps team came to know the tools, access everything, and reverse shadow. They need to explain what they have understand, how they have understand, and what is the inputs. Is there any gap? Then KT validation based on the parameters, how they're gonna pick the changes without any support. everything. So next is steady state handover. Now, once everything is done, then the role of a transition manager is done. So this transition managers will be around minimum of 15 plus years of experience with the technical background. So they are the one who is going to take care of the relationship between the CRM client relationship manager and the HRs and the tower leads. They are the one who is going to plan for a smooth KT transition, access tools, assigning a new laptops to the team members. So their shift planning, everything end to end, you have to take care. That's how the roles and expectations. This is a high demanded role in the current market for a mid-level experience who is having around 15 plus years of experience. Okay. I hope this PPT and this Excel sheet is gonna help you to understand something about a transition manager. Um, Please click on like and subscribe my channel. If someone is looking for a KT or someone is looking for a kind of a training for a transition manager, always welcome. You can reach out to me. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate your support. Please click on like and subscribe my channel.